Good morning, YouTubers. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mike. It is I, Mike Martins. Thanks for joining me, guys. I appreciate you guys following. And yeah, I just came to the shop to check things out. Everything's good. Everything's working. Everything's rolling nicely there. Yeah. Okay, we are off. It is dead here. It's like completely dead in town. I just did a video, if you guys haven't seen it yet. Just driving through town. It's very, very quiet. I'm going to drive up to the hill and take a look. I got a full tank of gas. Guys, they're asking people to, going to the gas station to wear gloves. I got gloves in my pocket, and I have these bleach things I take with me everywhere I go. It's not to be used on the really skin or anything, but I use it anyway because it's really strong. Because it turns your hands and your skin white, because like the bleach in it's very strong. And that's just for surfaces or bathroom surfaces and stuff, but I don't care. I use them anyway. None of us are immune to, like, I mean, this is, like I said, this is like the common flu. This is like a flu. It's going to go around. It's a lot more contagious than the flu. So it's like trying to stop the flu is what I try to say. It's like trying to stop the flu. You're not going to stop the flu. It's going to make its rounds. It's going to get around. But the longer you could wait for not getting it, or the longer you could wait to not catch it, the better it is, because they might be closer and closer and closer and closer to a cure over time. So the longer you could hold off and not get it, the better off you are, right? Because your chances of reinfection are low to medium. So, you know, and this is just what we're getting. This is just what we're getting from people, from reports, from, you know, if it wasn't for social media, I bet you guys that they would have not even said a peep about this for a long time if it wasn't for social media. But because social media is basically kind of whistleblowing what's happening, you know what I'm saying, guys? Because social media is kind of, you know, everyone's live all the time. I think it's kind of tough nowadays to keep this, you know, a secret, right? Yeah, because 20 years ago, 25 years ago, right? How would you know? Unless it was in the papers, or how would you know that there's this sickness in Italy if you're living in Canada? Yeah, you could get it through, like, you know, people calling you and telling you and stuff, and you know, maybe you wouldn't see a clip on it. No, they wouldn't even make that. They wouldn't. No, they would show people walking their dogs on the news, and somebody lost their dog, and that's what they usually put on the news, right? So, you know, like we've been drinking like lead water in the big cities here in Canada. No, you know, they covered that for a bit and then that disappeared. They're saying there's high levels of lead in our water and all kinds of other crap floating around in our water. Our water system infrastructure is really old. We don't invest in our infrastructure like we used to. Canada used to invest in infrastructure back in the 80s when the Europeans were here and European immigration was still open. They used to really, really build and really expand infrastructure and stuff. But now, starting up new cities from scratch, it's not happening. It's just not happening. You know what I'm saying? The Europeans did well with that, right? The Portuguese, the Italians, the Greeks, when they came over to Canada in the 70s, 80s, right? But it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. We can't argue it, right? It's happening. It's all happening. But luckily it's happening this time and age. If it happened, like I said, 30 years ago, you couldn't post this on your Instagram or your Facebook and show everybody, right? It would be more of a word of mouth thing that would go around, right? Like you probably see in the newspapers, mysterious flu in Italy or mysterious flu in China, making people sick unexpectedly. Stuff like that. You would probably see that 30 years ago, right? So now, I guess social media has gotten so big, or social media has become king now, that people know instantly what's happening. I can find out what's happening instantly right now in a small town 20 miles east of Dublin, if I have to. And if I don't know a small town 20 miles east of Dublin, I could go on MapQuest and find out in 2 seconds. Back in the days, we used to go through encyclopedias, we used to go through Britannicas, we used to go through atlases. back in the day, you would go through an atlas, and the atlas would tell you, here, this, and that, maps and stuff, or you go buy a Pearlie's map at the gas station or a world map to find out, Now we got everything at our fingertips, but unfortunately, it still isn't enough. Well, it's good socially, so for us to be able to connect socially, I think it's nice. For us to be, to be a lot closer with each other, I think it's nice. But yeah, the food store here. Yep, the food store is here. I'm at the food store here. I'm thinking of going in and getting some fruits. Like, here it is again. People coming out with one thing, like one item. Like, guy's got a bag of coffee. Look, people going in buying one item here. That's just how it is in this town. I notice when people go grocery shopping, they have 2 items on them, and that's it. 2 items. I don't know if I should go in. I'll go tomorrow. We'll go tomorrow. I think the Canadian Liars is closed too. I think there's a couple of stores that are closing down now until they figure out what the heck they're dealing with right now, right? So, no, it looks like the Canadian Tire, it looks like the Canadian Tire is still open. That's the, unless I go in there and buy a mask. If they have any, everywhere is sold out of masks. All of the basics, the basic requirements to keep yourself safe is sold out everywhere. Unless they have masks there. Oh well. I'm not too much of in a rush. We still have some bananas left. We have other foods, like a lot of foods, but we don't have like fruits, right? Fruits go fast. Right? Fruits. I think we're out of flour. Yeah, I don't know. It was just a small crowd of kids walking by. I think the McDonald's restaurants inside are closed too. It looks like they're closed inside. Looks like the drive-thru is open. Yeah, I think we're privileged now to live in a time where at least we could socially, I have my little show I have on Saturdays and my little show on Wednesdays, my live shows, and do my own thing. I would never be on TV. No one would put me on television. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the stuff we learned or came up with, or a lot of the stuff that, is good. But instead of us innovating and moving forward, right, we're not. Instead of actually creating, like, proper medicine, instead of creating big pharma, like real medicine, like real, like, start funding smaller projects to find cures for things, start funding and actually innovating, go to space and, like, really go to space. I'm not talking about faking it. I'm talking about really going to the moon. I'm talking about really going out and doing stuff, That's what I'm talking about, guys. I mean, really going out and making a difference, fabricating, innovating, expanding. The entire planet could have been solar by now and water powered with waves. We could use wave technology. Portugal did it. Portugal went off grid for 5 days, beating Germany's 4 hours. Completely off grid. Whole country. So there's ways, desalination plants. There's lots of ways, but they just don't want to do it. They're pushing to go green, and then in some states you put solar panels on, you can go to jail in the states. You go to jail for collecting solar energy. So what's the deal here? What's the like the Tesla roofs? I don't know. I'm not seeing that anymore. It was advertised. Everyone was going nuts about it on social media. And then boom, the Tesla roofs. I don't see it anymore. I don't see advertising. I was looking to get it maybe this summer or next summer and give it a try, right? And make a whole YouTube series about it. But I don't know. It's like almost like you don't hear about it no more. It's almost like they want to hide the fact, Anyways, it's nice out. I should open the window. It's actually pretty nice out. I don't know, guys. I'm just throwing this out there. I had a great show last night. I want to thank everyone that came on. We had so many guests on the show. I want to thank everybody about that. For coming on and taking their time. But yeah, there was somebody that was telling me that Italy did not stop counting their dead. But then we have a bunch of articles and nurses telling us that we have stopped counting the dead because there's just too many. There's too much going on, and they're short-staffed. So I'm just kind of wondering what's happening with that. You know what I'm saying? Because we were following Italy for the longest time, and then we got several reports of them. Several, not one. Several reports of them stating basically that they are no longer counting their dead. Right? I read the articles from you guys from 3 different sources. I think one's from the New York Times too, and the other one's the Financial Post, I think. But I don't know, man. Town's dead. That's all I know. The town is dead. You got the odd, straggler going around, Like back there, I saw a guy pick up a cigarette butt off the floor. Like things like that. People are still doing that, picking up cigarette butts and smoking them off the ground. That's just, I don't know. I've never seen that anywhere else but in Canada. I've lived in a lot of other places. I've never seen anybody do that in other countries. Picking up cigarette butts and smoking it. All right, let's see what we got here, guys. It's all close. There's nobody. There's a guy in town trying to unload all his properties. There's a guy, yeah, it's for sale. I see it here. Yeah, he's got several buildings for sale. He's trying to unload, but too little, too late. He was asking too much for them. He would have got them before. The virus, but now I don't think nothing's going to move anymore. No one's. Why are you going to buy a store or a retail space that you can't open? Can't open to the public. What are you going to do? Renovate it for 6 months and then hopefully you'll be allowed to open? And then we covered a story yesterday, guys. Rolling Stone magazine covered it about yesterday on the show. If you go back to me reading the articles, I think the first 11 minutes or 12 minutes of the show, I'm reading an article where they're actually looking at changing or nullifying the Constitution until the virus gets cleared out. Right? So that's another way of, for them to impose their draconian, if they want to start removing people's rights, right? But I think these guys, these higher up echelons, they know something is bigger. Something's bigger happening than how it was first reported, right? A lot of people still right now still believe that this is just, it's nothing. It's just a flu, or not even a flu. It's just something that they're created so they could shut down the economies, right? But I don't think they would have shut down the economies. Not right now. Not during a presidential election that's coming up this year. Not during a lot of things at the same time happening this year, especially with China looking as bad as it does right now. China looks like the world's biggest liar, right? So, yeah. Anyways, guys, I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. This is just a blah morning coffee with Mike, blah, blah, blah. Just talking about stuff. Do some karate with the kids today. Teach them a few katas. On my way to where the air is free. Almost home. Oh, there's a group of people walking here. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I would like to know what you guys think. What's going on? What are you guys feeling? My little town's turned into a little ghost town. Usually you have a lot of kids out and about doing things and hanging out. But it's a tiny ghost town now. Comment below, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys.